everyone and welcome back to some more Warhammer Underworlds for the channel, still in the alternative recording location, still mucking around in general with some camera settings. Hopefully now is the sweet spot and it will remain like this until the next time I decide to fiddle with the camera settings. But anyway, we're going to see a new warband on the table today. It's the Gorechosen of Dromm, aka the Corn Boys, going up against Blackpowder and his pirate crew, including the monkey with a knife, which is the best model to exist for this game. And the objectives are already placed down, etc. But let's take a quick look at both sides. So the Gorechosen, for brevity's sake, I'm just going to call them that. It's another 3-model warband. They've all got a lot of health each. The leader is in the middle here with the staff. That is Dromm himself, the Wonder of Worlds. He's a 5 HP model, so he counts as large. And speaking of large, to his left, your right, that is the Gore Hulk. He also has 5 health, and he actually has a special move on his close combat rule called Throttle, where he just grabs, like imagine Homer grabbing Bart by the neck. That's essentially what he does to people to stop them moving. It gives them a move token, or stopping them charging rather. And then finally we have Skull Grinder Herrick's right there. He's got like a furnace on his back. He's a little weaker, he's only got 4 health. They have a mechanic called Blood Tithe? Yeah, Blood Tithe. They start the game with 1 each. And if they deal damage or are dealt damage, they gain another counter. If they have 3, they inspire, and they can spend them on some power cards and also just some abilities on their cards as well. I'm just using some red old Games Workshop dice over here to represent their Blood Tithe counters, but you can use any counters you want for them. I think that about covers it. First time on using them though, not sure on strategy, we'll just see how it goes. So second time on the channel, we have Gorlock Blackpowder, the big ogre at the back, and his pirate crew plus menagerie, I guess. We have Shriek, whatever, the bird. We have Manju, monkey with knife. I'm still not sure how to pronounce his name. Then we have KG and Pegs. Pegs is the one who's pointing with the sword here, one of his nobblers. And then we have KG at the back there, who has this kind of like grappling hook as well. So we'll see how they do as well. We're using the alternative Weird Hollow. I keep wanting to say Wild Wood because it's a Citadel paint. Weird Hollow boards. Oh, that's one thing I did forget to mention when going over the Gorechosen. They do not gain Blood Tithe counters for getting damaged by lethal hexes on the board. Just not relevant to this crew. But these, for instance, is so you can't cheese yourself into being inspired. That about covers it for this crew though. I think they did well the first showing. I remember the monkey with a knife getting 3 crits in 1 attack at one point, so we'll see if he can repeat the feat this time. So both sides are set up, and despite getting automatic crit for rolling to see who goes first, the Gorechosen actually did lose the roll. They got that because they finished setting up first, because it's 3 models versus 5. So before we get started into round 1 with Blackpowder and his band of pirates going first, let's flip over objectives. So there is objective 5, that is objective 2, that is objective 1. So we have 3 and 4 over here somewhere. There is 4, and that means 3 is right up there. And with that, into round 1. So to get the game started, the first activation for Blackpowder's Buccaneers, it was his precious bird, I was going to say. I don't know, does he like the bird? Either way, it did a move action, at which point the monkey with a knife was able to use its reaction. When a friendly minion makes a move action, they can be pushed 3 hexes as long as they end up closer to the minion that did move. So that's why the bird has a move token, the monkey has moved but has nothing. In the power phase, Grand Theft was put into play. It doesn't do anything right now, but the first range 1 attack action made by a friendly fighter in the next activation has Ensnare, and you gain 1 swag token after resolving this attack. So it's not, you put it in now, but it comes into play on their next activation. Now well, not in retaliation necessarily, but in the same power phase, when it went back over to the Gorechosen, they did Wound the Realm. Now this has the keyword prayer. We could not find what that keyword means. I'm currently asking in a Discord right now, waiting for an answer, so we might see a little bit of an in-video errata in a second. Prayer is not defined in the 2-player starter set rulebook, it is not defined in the Weird Hollow rulebook, and it is not defined in the digital version of the rulebook on the Warhammer Underworlds website. This is the problem when you have lots of iterations. So presumably it's not a spell, because there's no information about it being a spell here. It doesn't tell you what you need to roll to cast it. So we're doing it. So Dromm is doing this specifically. Choose one fighter within 1 hex of no man's land, deal 1 damage to them, and then you can do extra stuff if you remove blood tithe counters, but he's not going to do that. He's just simply going to do 1 damage to the bird, because no man's land is the line down the middle there. So that is 1 damage to the bird right there. So the matter regarding the prayer keyword is still being looked into. My friend who plays a lot of this over in Belgium, he wasn't 100% sure. I gave him the specific card and everything, and he's going to ask his gaming group that plays a lot more of it than him, so it's an ongoing issue. If this is going to be done incorrectly for the rest of this video, apologies, but it'll be done correctly going forwards once the answer is known. Anyway, the first action for the Gorechosen was to activate Skull Grinder Herix. He didn't even want to move, he just wanted to kill that bird, because Khorne likes murder. He stayed still, he's got a range 1 attack. It is 2 dice needing hammers for 2 damage. He can also do blood change with that. He can spend blood tithe counters to make it a ranged attack, is essentially what that means. And it has stagger on it as well. The bird gets 2 defense dice needing the dodge symbol. Didn't get that, but did get the single support, which is what the monkey is providing. And that beat out the 1 successful hammer that Herix had, meaning that nothing was done there at all. No power cards being played, but as we go into Blackpowder's second activation, that Grand Theft is in effect. So we'll move on to Blackpowder's second activation in a second. However, they actually could have done a reaction there after Herix's activation in the power step, and we're just going to do it now. It's called Punitive Damage Reaction. Play this after an enemy fighter's attack action that targeted an adjacent friendly fighter other than your leader. Deal 1 damage to the attacker. He bit me! And it doesn't say it has to be one of the Nobblers who did it, so Herix is taking 1 damage to him there, but that's also good for him because that means he gets his second blood tithe counter, which he should have got if he'd actually dealt damage. And it doesn't say they need to deal damage, it just says they have to do an attack action. So, anyway, simple enough activation. Sadly, the Grand Theft card is actually being ignored. A mistake was made with Blackpowder's movement. He cannot reach down here any of the other Gorechosen. He was meant to go up and smack someone. So instead, Peg's activated. Did he move onto the objective here? And then that does actually score a objective card. The Gold Digger card has scored. Score this immediately after a power step if 2 or more friendly fighters are on a feature token, which objectives are, and 1 or more of those are in enemy territory. There's 1, there's 2, and the latter is in enemy territory. So that's the first glory earned for Blackpowder's Buccaneers, and now it's over to the Gorechosen. And the second activation for the Gorechosen was Dromm himself. He did a charge action to get onto objective 4 there right in the middle of your screen, and did his range 2 dice needing hammers for 2 damage, blood blessed axe and staff attack, and he did it on Blackpowder. He got a crit. Blackpowder needed a shield, well, he needed a crit really to counter the crit, didn't get it and took 2 damage of his 6 health. Then in the power step, Skin of Brass is being played. It's a prayer. Choose 1 friendly fighter. Dromm is choosing himself. -1 damage to attack actions that target the chosen fighter to a minimum of 1. It persists until the end of the round or until he takes damage. So that makes it less likely Blackpowder's going to do a lot of damage to him. It's a little bit of extra protection. Well, Blackpowder was quick to retaliate. He activated, stayed where he was, and fired his Grunderbus, which is up to range 3 dice needing swords for 2 damage. He got 1 set of swords and a crit. And Dromm needs shields. Well, he needed a crit. So he also took 2 damage, however. The card in play reduces that down to him taking 1 damage. Still damage, so he's up to his 3rd blood tithe counter, which does mean he inspires at this point. I actually don't remember what he gets when he inspires. Let's see. He gets +1 movement, +1 die to his basic attack, but he needs swords instead of hammers. So I guess that means he's going into a bit of a rage, is what that means. So that's fair enough. And then in the power phase is meaning that there's going to be another attack, because Hasty Shot is being played. Discard 1 power card, the one behind is being discarded. When you do, your leader makes 1 Grunderbus attack with -1 die, and it doesn't have the ammo roll because he's out of ammo now because he's fired it once. But he's going to attack again, so there's a potential for 2 more damage. Back in a second. Yeah, and on that additional attack, Blackpowder only got 1 set of swords, but Dromm went and whiffed his defense roll and took 2 damage, so he's got 2 health left in total now. That one doesn't get reduced of his 5 health, and it's over to them now to see what they can do. Well, it was the Gorehulk who really could have used that extra movement because he only has movement 3. He initiated... Oh, it should actually be a move action. Sorry, wrong side of the thing. There we go. He initiated a move action because he doesn't have any range. So he has to get up close and punch things. So he just did a move for 3 hexes and has ended up there for the activation. No cards being played on either side. Final activation in round 1 for Blackpowder's Buccaneers was the Monkey with a Knife, who did a charge action to come round to the far side of Herrick's there and attacked him with his his tail knife. Type. 1 die, range 1, 3 dice, needing swords. He got a crit again, he just can't stop rolling crits. But Herrick rolled a crit and there was no other successes. Oh wait, no, he was supported. He was supported by the bird, it did go through, never mind, that is 1 damage. That also means, though, well, he has 2 health left for 1, but he inspires, because that was his 3rd blood tithe counter and he didn't spend any. So when he inspires, he gets 1 extra damage on his attacks, so his basic attack does 3 damage. That is dangerous. Well, we're staying up here because Herrick's activated again. He didn't have a charge token or anything, so he can. And he just wanted to smack the monkey to death, and he got a crit. The monkey did get the dodge he needed, but that's a double support, so that doesn't do anything, and both are trumped by the crit. So he takes 3 damage, he has 2 health. The monkey has very much been splatinated, and that is the first glory to the Gorechosen, and they're actually spending it on retaliate immediately, which is going on Herrick's because he's wounded. Reaction, well, it's an upgrade, but then it gives you access to the reaction used during a successful attack action that targets this fighter. After the out of action check, i.e. you're not dead, you can make a range 1 or range 2 attack action, and then you break the card. The attacker can't be driven back. So that is on him now. Just if he survives the next time someone tries to smack him, he will smack them back with that insane damage. So at the end of the first round, the Gorechosen have been getting beaten up a little bit, although 2 of them are now inspired, and they only just at the end there scored 1 glory to bring them to a draw. But in the end phase though, the Blackpowder Buccaneers are not scoring any of their other 2 objective cards. The Gorechosen are scoring all 3 of theirs, which is pretty incredible. So first of all, a worthy offering is being scored. Score it in the end phase if your warband has 2 or more blood tithe counters. They currently have a total of 7. Oh, Korn's number, right? Or is that Nurgle's number? No, Korn's number is 6, I think. I've forgotten now. Either way, that's 1 there. I brought shame to my family by forgetting the numbers associated with each Chaos God. So that's 1. They're also scoring Hack and Slash. Score this in the end phase if there was 2 or more successful attack actions made in your previous activation. Were made during your activation. Activations in the previous phase. Yep, there was. Herrick's did a successful one, as did Dromm. So that is another 1. And then they're scoring 3 for Grim Satisfaction. Score this in the end phase if 4 or more fighters each have 1 or more wound counters. There is an or condition about 1 person being in no man's land with 8 blood tithe counters, but the first condition is actually true. Dromm has wound counters, Herrick's has wound counters, Blackpowder has wound counters, and so does the bird. So exactly 4. The monkey died instantly, obviously, so he doesn't count towards that. But that is a massive 3 right there. So it went from a draw to all of a sudden the Chaos Gorechosen having 2, 4, 6 to Blackpowder's 1. So to get the second round started, with the tokens over here not flipped back around yet, Blackpowder's Buccaneers got first action, and the bird activated and decided to go on a runner. Movement 5, it shot down from up there all the way down here, didn't do anything else with this turn, but during the power phase, makeshift munitions is being put into play. In the next activation, your leader's Grunderburst's attack action has -1 damage to a minimum of 1, but it doesn't need ammo, because he doesn't currently have any. And the first activation for the Gorechosen of the second round was Dromm staying where he is and using that Korn-blessed sword and staff, or axe and staff, sorry, to attack at range 2 against KG. He got 2 crits in the row, he was looking for swords. Poor KG just took 2 damage, which is how much health he has, so this little Nobblar is not going to get to do anything, and he is out of there. So that is 1 glory for that. However, he does also score a card. A Poison Strike is how I think this is pronounced. I'm not going to risk taking a second attempt. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter's attack action takes an enemy fighter out of action if the damage dealt was exactly enough, which it was. 2 damage and he had 2 health. so that makes that kill worth another glory. And they're also spending a couple of glory to put 2 upgrades on the Gore Hulk, because they're very fitting for him. They're putting Aura of Wrath and Crazed Rampager. So if he does a charge, he gets 2 extra movement, putting him at 5. And if he attacks someone, they can't be driven back. So even by choice, he's not allowed to drive back people he smacks in close combat. They must stay there. Second activation for Blackpowder's Buccaneers was the man himself. He didn't actually end up using his blunderbuss because with the grunderbuss, because the -1 damage would mean he wouldn't be able to kill Dromm, and his goal was to kill Dromm, so he used his Great Cutlass instead, which is range 2, so he didn't even need to do a charge action. 2 dice needing hammers, he got 2 of them, for 3 damage. Dromm managed to block 1, but the other got through. So that still means the damage gets applied, and he is murderized because he has 5 health. He is a large fighter, so he's worth 2 glory, and that does indeed cripple the Gorechosen's ability to score cards and do a lot more work. So it's good that he got him out of the way, but the munitions card was wasted as a result. Well, the Gore Hulk was having none of that. With a mighty yell, he initiated a charge into Blackpowder. He has 2 attacks to choose from at point blank range. He can do the Choking Grip, which is the one that does the throttle, where he stops the person moving. Or he can do Crushing Grip, where he tries to crush their windpipe. 2 dice needing swords. He got 1 set of swords, and the defense die was nothing because there's no one to support Blackpowder, which means he takes a massive 3 damage. He had 2 on him already from Dromm attacking him, so that's him up to 5 damage. He has 1 health remaining. You know, it's really setting in just how few people are left on the table. Blackpowder activated again, cracked out that giant cutlass and swung it at the Gore Hulk's head. 2 dice rather, needing hammers. He got a hammer and a crit. And the Gore Hulk does block on shields, but that doesn't protect him against the crit, so he has taken 3 damage, which means he has 2 health left. So they both managed to do 3 to each other. It's Herix that has has Retaliate as well, so the Gore Hulk can't do anything about taking that damage. Oh, as a matter of note though, with receiving that damage, the Gore Hulk gets his 3rd Blood Tithe counter and inspires. His health actually goes up by 1 on his inspired side, so for 6 total. So he's actually got 3 health left. And another thing that happened, there's so many things to keep track of with these guys. Untouchable Fury scored as a result. It's very fitting as well. Not quite exact because it's not the Gore Hulk being stabbed by Blackpowder, but it's close. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter is dealt damage by an enemy fighter's attack action if the friendly fighter was not taken out of action. So the Gore Hulk took it to the face, did not die, and that was also worth 1 glory. Well, poor Pegs won't be activating because Herix had to activate. He did a charge, did his basic attack, 2 dice needing hammers. 1 hammer was rolled, and unfortunately for Pegs, he didn't roll the dodge he needed on the defense die, so he took the massive 3 damage to the face. He has 2 health, so he is gone, leaving just Blackpowder and the bird for his crew. That's another glory as well, and they've got 1 action left to do something. And to end off the second round for Blackpowder's Buccaneers, the man himself activated. Did he charge, come round the Gore Hulk there, once again attacked with his giant cutlass. Got 1 success on the hammer there, easily blockable, but the Gore Hulk did not roll the support, so he took 3 damage to the face and is splatted, leaving just Herix on the board for the Gorechosen, and that is worth 2 glory to the Blackpowder Buccaneers because he's worth 5 or more health, taking them to 5. 5 playing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so halfway there. With Herix up there being the last man standing and already having a charge token, all he could do is attack, and at best he can make his attack range 2. So there's nothing he can do, so just going to take advantage of discarding to draw a power card, and that takes us to the end phase. So at the end of the second round, there's 3 miniatures left on the board, 2 for Blackpowder's Buccaneers, and Blackpowder himself is 1 hit away from death. Actually, so is the bird. And just Herix with half health remaining, 2 health for him as well. 1 card is being scored, it's by the Blackpowder Buccaneers. They are scoring Treasure Hungry, which you can hopefully make out. Score this in the end phase if 2 or more friendly fighters are on feature tokens. There is 2 friendly fighters, and they are both on a feature token, so that is one other glory there. Nothing else being scored. It's going to be an interesting final round. So in the final round of the game, it was the Gorechosen, or what's left of them, that got first activation. So Herrick's obviously activated, did a charge to go finish off Blackpowder, and he succeeded. He got 2 hammers. Blackpowder needed a shield, or a crit actually, and took 3 damage. He had 1 health left, so he is out of there, and his prodigious size means he is worth 2 glory. I don't think the bird is going to be able to swing this in Blackpowder's favour, but we can certainly see if he can at least clear the field of enemies. But, oh, and also that does score a Brutal Reckoning, I believe. Yes, it does. A friendly fighter's attack action takes an enemy fighter out of action if that friendly fighter had 1 or more blood type counters. He does. And 1 or more wound counters. He does. So that's another glory right there. And then he's spending 2 glory to put 2 upgrades on himself just to try and keep himself alive. He's putting White Hot Anger and Sharpened by Rage. So White Hot Anger reaction, use this after a friendly fighter's successful range 1 or range 2 attack action, and then every hex around him is treated as a lethal hex. Sadly it's not going to be active, but whatever. That seems like a really good card, especially if you get it early. Sharpen by Rage, in the declare attack action step, you can remove one of this fighter's blood type counters. If you do, you can pick to give Cleave and Snare, Knockback, etc. to his attacks. If indeed he gets another chance to attack because he has no range, well, he can go to range 2, but if the bird knows what's good for it, it'll stay clear. So for the lonely little bird down here for Blackpowder's Buccaneers, last bird standing, there is nothing it can do to score any of the cards they drew into at the top of the round, and they can't be attacked because Herrick's at best can be range 2. He doesn't want to move in there. It's not worth it, because even if he did manage to kill Herrick's, it would only be worth 1 glory because he's 4 health, and that would not make a difference to the outcome. So we are just going to call it there. The Gorechosen cannot score any of their other cards either. He would have had to not be on the objective to score one of them, but it's not going to matter. So the final scores are 6 to Blackpowder's Buccaneers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 to the Gorechosen, despite almost being wiped out to a man. They're very they're very brutal, blunt, and then they kind of just get beat up a little bit. Although obviously Blackpowder does a lot more damage than your average model on the table, I suppose. But yeah, they're fun. They have interesting cards. Apologies again if the prayer rule was in some way done incorrectly. If it might just be a keyword. It doesn't really have a meaning in the current iteration of the game. I'm not sure how old this warband is, but either way, they seem fun. They seem very to the point, which is very fitting for Khorne, I suppose. Blackpowder's Buccaneers, I think they actually have been errated a little bit. I heard someone talking about that, that knows the game better than I do. I don't know if that's helped. A lot of their cards seem so very specific, and their crew is so fragile with no way to bring them back, that it makes a lot of their deck like irrelevant objective cards wise if they've started losing a couple of people. So I don't know. It's also hard to inspire them. There's not enough ways for Blackpowder to gain more ammo, which is how he inspires, and the rest of them, they require the enemy to have upgrades equipped, and they have to successfully attack them while they have upgrades to inspire. It's not a great inspire condition. It should be like, maybe it'd be too easy, but it's not like staying on a enemy objective hex or a neutral objective hex if it's in no man's land. Something like that would definitely help. It would inspire them early, give them a little bit of a boost. But either way, I don't know the game that well, that's just my musings. Thank you for watching though, I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Please do remember to show your support if you would like to see more. And if you want to go above and beyond and support what we do here on the channel, consider becoming a channel member or pressing the thanks button. It is all reinvested in the channel and helps keep this possible a while longer. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you next time while I get harassed on my watch. Ta-ta for now.